Hey guys, Stephen Cox here, and today this is the last video of 2020. So I want to thank you guys, first of all, for hanging out with me all year and as long as this channel has existed. You guys have really made this year a lot better by being there on the live streams, supporting me on Patreon, and for those of you that had questions, you've helped me come up with video ideas, so I can't thank you guys enough. Today we're going to be talking about setting goals on Ubase for 2021 and what my goals for the year are. So if you like videos like these, please go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe for more, and let's jump into it. So first, let's talk about setting some Ubase goals. So there's some different categories, first of all, that we'll go over. We'll go over 3 main categories, and then we'll talk about what goals I'm setting for the year. So first, we want to come up with one that's kind of fun. This is a good one for anybody, really, is songs to learn. So you want to come up with a list of songs that you'd like to learn in 2020. I recommend including a few that are kind of easier, that are more on the level that you're currently on, and a few that are kind of challenging. They don't have to be Victor Wooten type of challenging or Jaco Pastorius challenging, but you do want to give you something to grow into that you can't play right away within the first week of the year. So examples of this, and if you're not sure which songs to pick or you have no direction at all on it, I highly recommend picking a couple different genres. So if you're a beginner, you could start with country. You could do songs like Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison, or Walk the Line, something of that nature. And then you could move up to maybe some blues. So blues would be a good thing next because it involves more finger patterns. So you could try something like Tore Down by Eric Clapton, or the Eric Clapton version rather. And then another genre that you could pick songs from would be funk. So funk or possibly jazz could challenge you a little bit more. If you're a more advanced player, you could look at things like Spain by Chick Corea. That has a fairly simple bass line, as it's just a bossa nova style line, but then there are those little parts in there, all that stuff that would give you a nice little challenge as well. Or you could look at some Jaco Pastorius, like The Chicken would be a good one, learning how he actually plays it, or Teen Town if you want a real challenge. So the next category could go hand in hand with songs, but this is technique and theory that you might need in your playing. So in this you could include scales, major and minor scales, and just practicing things of that nature, modes of the major scale if you're looking for something a little bit more advanced. And then as far as technique goes, that's more the theoretical side. As far as technique goes, you could start with just really getting your alternate plucking fingers down. So you could start by doing that on individual strings, work up to doing that warm-up exercise where we do 4 notes on the string here, but we're alternating fingers over here. So if you're a beginner, I recommend that. If you're an intermediate player, you could do one of the harder warm-ups. It still involves alternate plucking on different strings. And if you're pretty good at that, you can move on to some other techniques, anything from harmonics to tapping to slapping. But you want to start simple and work your way up and make sure you have a good base or foundation just by plucking with the fingers and alternating and being able to navigate the neck. So those are technique goals. The last category I'm going to include today is gear and gear modification goals. So that would just be like getting a new Ubase, putting new strings on one that you already have. And what I recommend here, I consider it a goal even if you're just buying the gear. So for me, I'm thinking about getting another fretless Ubase with flat wound strings on it. But it could just be modification goals. So like if you know you want to change the strings but you're nervous to do it and you feel like taking it to a shop, it could be you doing it instead. Or it could just be you taking it to the shop and getting stuff done that you know needs to be done on your Ubase, even if you don't feel confident in doing the work yourself. But for me, I'm going to include a couple of modification things that I'm hoping to do on my own. So here are my 5 goals for Ubase for 2021. So first of all, I want to be able to sight read Motown bass lines. So the lines in this book, they don't have tab, it's just the musical notation. And I can read the lines, I can go through and figure out the rhythms, but I want to be so good at reading that I can recognize those rhythms right away. All these syncopated 16th notes with ties, across all the bar lines and all sorts of things going on there. I just want to be able to recognize those immediately and be able to play them full speed. Another U-bass goal is to do more modifications on my basses. So I would like to be able to change the strings out and possibly make some videos for you guys about changing the strings out. So that would include being able to remove and replace the nut so that I can go back and forth between having round wound strings, flat wound strings, and all the various different types of polyurethane and rubber strings. In addition to that, maybe some other modifications as well, but those are the main ones. Being able to do a string comparison video for this year would require me to be able to do simple things like removing the nut and putting a new one on there, maybe fixing the intonation on a U-bass, figuring out how to do that, how to lower the action and raise the action, and I might make a video on that as well. So my next goal is to write a U-bass song that I'm proud of, that uses a lot of percussive stuff in addition to having the melody and possibly a bass line or chords, one or the other, maybe even both in different sections of the song. But I want to make a completely original song that I'm proud of. I think the last time I did this that I can remember that it wasn't just a example for a lesson was a song that I did called Going Camping. So I want to do something on that regards, maybe something a little bit harder that I'm a little more proud of, that takes a little bit more technique involved than just that. And then my next goal is a gear goal. I want to own a fretless Kala ebony U-bass so that I can put flat wound strings on it. And then I also, in addition to that, want to have the technique goal of being able to play it with really good intonation by the end of the year, with my eyes closed, my eyes open, whatever, just being really comfortable on it. And then my last goal of 2021 is I want to teach at least 30 students personally how to go from being a beginner or wherever they're at to understanding the blues, understanding how to walk bass lines on jazz changes as well, theory, and then how to read charts so that they're comfortable basically in any performance setting or any jam setting that you might come across. So that's my goal, is to at least help people get further down that path or at least start on that path. And I'm actually teaching one-on-one lessons, so I just want to mention this really quickly, that on Skype and Zoom I'm actually teaching lessons. You can find more information on that in the description below. Alright guys, so since this is a transition from one year to another, I thought I'd play a little piece of my song Transitions on the U-bass as a solo arrangement. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed learning all these lessons in 2020 and in the years prior and learning about the U-bass. And if you have any questions, please let me know. But also, I'm really curious about what your goals are for 2021. So please leave them in the comments below. And then that way, that'll give me ideas on what I can do to help you guys next year to achieve your goals. So thank you once again for watching, and I will see you guys in the new year.